Hi, you guys. So, anyways, as we were discussing, when you've suffered enough abuse, when you've had enough, ultimately you will leave. When you suffer so much anxiety and fear and fret, ultimately you'll go. I know oftentimes you may have a friend that you're working through things with and you're helping her to find the best decision for her to make regarding her life, and she doesn't want to go, and maybe you've been through it and you're trying to tell her go run and she's not ready. Let her stay where she is, because when she is tired, and she will get there, she will leave. So don't feel as though you have to take it on yourself. No. Again, this is for leaders. This is not for mentees. This is for mentors who work with mentees. When they're tired, they will leave. The best way to gauge when it is time for you to step in and contact the police is when the children are being harmed, or when the person is literally suicidal. There are times when you may have to step in and you may have to alert, because we're mandated to do so. However, for the most part, leave them alone. If they want to share, that's fine to allow them to share, but allow them to have the space to make their decision. Because if you were to get that person incarcerated that was violating that person, what are the chances that then she'll just spend 10 or 15 years with him while he's in jail for whatever he did, and then she'll go right back with him? So you could have delayed something that God was literally allowing that person to go through so that they could learn and actually exit the situation. So you don't want to overstep your boundary. You don't want to go ahead of God. Allow him to work it out, and in that way he'll work it out so that it'll work more in the favor of that participant, because that's what they are. They're participants in the relationship. They made a decision. They made a fully knowledgeable decision to stay with somebody who is not good for them. I know, because I made a decision such as that. And when I did, my mother let me go through it. And then when I was tired, she was waiting for me, and I was like, oh my God. And she was like, well, you get it now. And I got it. And other women will get it as well. There's something about peace. The peace that God gives you that will give you the motivation to just say, you win. Whoever else is out there that can deal with what you're giving, let them have it. They can have it. Enjoy it. But as for me, I'd rather just enjoy being able to grow myself and develop into someone that I am proud of. And it's not just the fact that I have to say, I have a man. You don't need to just be able to say, I got a man, I got a boo. No, the more important thing that you need to be able to say is that I have peace. And there's so many people that have a boo, have a bae, have a husband, who have no peace. It's so hard to see women that are going through that, and they have so much to offer. However, they've decided to cut themselves short from their potential, or stall it, delay it. But just because you're delaying your potential doesn't mean that it will not come into fruition at another time. So you always want to be able to work with that mentee in the position, and from the position that what they're doing now is only so that they can find out who they're really dealing with. They won't understand. They won't. It will seem like you're speaking in Chinese to them. But when the day comes that they make that decision, God may call them to help other people who have to make that decision. God may call them to work in places where other victims are being violated domestically, verbally, in any way, shape, or form. Economically, there's all types of the abuse and levels of abuse that women and men tend to suffer from victims, from their victimizers. And an effort to prevent being a victim, you have to align yourself with opportunities and people that can kind of get you out. I recall and you won't find a lot of people that will want to be around you when you're making foolish decisions. Wise people tend to walk far from people that are in a lot of folly, they really don't want to have much to do with people that choose to make bad decisions. The reason being is bad company corrupts good character. So a wise person knows that and will opt to not have a relationship with someone so that they're not lowering their standard. If a wise person were to be seen with somebody who is known to be a fool, there could be someone that you need to be aligned with that may be watching the communications you and that person are having and choose not to elect you for a particular reason. So for that reason, we do have to be careful what company we keep. As such, if you're in a relationship with someone who is keeping bad company, why? If that person is choosing to be around bad company, then that should let you know that he might not think too highly of himself. So that's another sign to look out for. These are just some signs that you can give to your mentees, that you can even utilize for yourself when making a decision. Look at the company that people surround themselves with. Yes, it's okay to have an acquaintance that you may see on the street that has some issues, but when you're really in a hardcore friendship with someone that's just not making wise decisions, at some point it should give that person let me fall back. And if they're not in a let me fall back place, then that means that they might just kind of be disturbed in their mind or tolerating this. But how long can you tolerate it? And as we exit this mentorship, I want you to ask that question to your mentee. How much can you tolerate? How much abuse is it going to take before you learn to love yourself, learn to value yourself? More importantly, if there are any children in that relationship, how much abuse is it going to take?